right. All right. How y'all doing tonight? Got BJ back in the building with my good friend, Mr. Shawn James, in the New York, the Big Apple, but it's become more like the Big Snapper with all the lunacy going on, right? Those Snapper drinks that you drink, whatever. So it might funny. I got another guy, Frank Nitty, that's on from the left coast, which is probably don't need to be called the West Coast, need to be called the left coast. And this is that's the well, both of them left coast really because they don't completely going to go leftist. So really, to be honest, both of them left coast. But and bring him in too. What's going
What
on,
up?
Frank?
What's going on? What's going on? BJ, what's going on? Shawn, how
I
you
got
doing?
Shawn James
How are
on.
you?
Right.
And I brought him on. It's kind of funny. You from New York. He lives in New York. And both of y'all got the same problem going on in y'all respective states. You got Gavin Newsom. He had Cuomo, and they got this other woman. And like I've been telling him, Shawn, Gavin Newsom got recalled. When a product is recalled, it comes off the shelf. But this one didn't come off the shelf, so I know what's going on. But Shawn, go ahead and introduce your work. I know you got a good book business and all that.
Well, I am the publisher of the SJS Direct Imprint, and I have written and published over 75 books. And I have a lot of great titles to offer readers, such as The Man Crisis, the John Haynes series, the ISIS series, and the East Team series. You can find all of these books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find many of them on Smashwords, the iBook store, and Google Play in digital format.
Okay. Well, we're sure looking out for you because you're on a lot of platforms. So I do thank you for coming on. And Frank, I know you got the show. Go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
What's going on, man? Frank Nitty, you know what I mean? Just basically just a vocal activist, man, when it comes out of, when it comes down to it, make beats. So I'm in the music and trying to get into the music scene. But other than that, you know what I'm saying? Just trying to spit this real, man. Just, trying to wake people up, man, because that's what it's about, man. Using your platform to do that.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. So, Shawn, you had a book called The Man Crisis. So the question is, what is the man crisis? Not the book. What is the man crisis going on in the United States?
Well, the man crisis going on here in the United States is that many of our men are falling completely apart because of this functional way they have been raised over the last 50 years. Now, over the last 50 years, we have had our women indoctrinated into feminism. And as these women were indoctrinated into feminism, they raised their boys to become these so-called kinder, gentler, softer males. Unfortunately, these men, as they've grown up, are not equipped to be able to function in the world. And many of these men are just having a difficult time trying to navigate life. That's why we're seeing such an increase in suicides. That's why we're seeing an increase in mass shootings. That's why we're seeing so much drug addiction. And that's why we're seeing so many men just wandering lost and directionless, because a lot of these men never had any sort of male guidance or any sort of understanding of how the world works as a man, because they have been raised by women primarily. So these men are in crisis because they just do not know how to make the world work the way a man is supposed to, because we have demonized men for so many years, and these men need the guidance of a man to show them how the world works. So they're not getting that guidance, and that's why they're in crisis, because they're trying to make the world work the way a female does. But the way the world works is different for a female than it is for a male. And these guys go out here and they're just falling completely apart because they're trying to use female approaches in a world where they're expected to be men.
What do you think, Frank? You like that?
Oh, man. Oh, it's exactly spot on, man. Exactly what it is. And, you got to look at it like this, man. Certain things were put into play perfectly. Like, for example, Gloria Steinem was a CIA operative. She was put into play perfectly, for that feminist movement. And see, the thing is, a lot of times too, these women from another, of another, nationalities actually went in and indoctrinated our women and told our women things about us, and our women actually fit and believed it. So not even just that, you have a indoctrination thing when it comes down to the kids. So now you're telling the kids, and how much of this or that the black man is or isn't. You see what I'm saying? So it's a selfish pattern when it comes down to even raising the kid and thinking on that independent level, or supposedly, that's even a selfish thing. But now you're bringing the kids into it. It's another, I think, another dynamic. And the kids at the end of the day lose out in a situation like that. And I think that's how it became generational. And they say generational curses. Yeah, I think this has something to do with it. But at the same time, this is something that could have been prevented. Because like I say all the time, BJ, in the 50s and even 60s, black marriages were even higher than white marriages. So this thing, this thing is at least 60 years old. You know what I'm saying? So it's but the feminine movement did an excellent job at it, man. So I mean, that's my thing, and I'm just so puzzled into thinking like how our women actually believed another nationality into thinking that we weren't, up to standard. It's just it's a crazy thing, but it's definitely conditioning and indoctrination, and it's still alive today. Even if a black woman, I think, and even I see, even if she doesn't know that she's indoctrinated with feminism, she's still gonna play out the traits of it.
Well, let me get my own accord on this. Oh, you want me to know something? I'm about to say something. I was born 1987, July 16, 1987, to be a matter of fact. And it seems like that really was the last generation in that 80s, early 90s era that really got into manhood, right? And after that, after anything after 94, it's just straight almost shot to shit. I mean, like, it's just completely like, it's fucked up, man. I mean, it's really messed up. I mean, a lot of them don't listen to you. They talk to you like you are a man, a woman, right? They expect you to get emotional with them. I've been listening to these women. I need a man in touch with his feminine side. What the hell are you talking about? I mean, I just need to know, what are you talking about? Well, when I need a man to argue with me, well, I don't do that. I mean, I don't do that. I don't need to argue with you. I mean, like, I can sit back and just lay back like this and let you talk, because if you got to talk more than 3 minutes, you can't come to a solution of a problem. You got some serious issues. There ain't no need to be catfighting with no woman. I was talking to a lady a couple of days ago, and she was saying that the guy that she's talking to isn't built like that, but he talks to her like he's crazy, but he's not built like that. I'm like, well, why are you dealing with this guy if he's not built like that? And she was saying that he gave her a place to stay, or something like that, or but she moved in with him, but she thought that he had it down. But now he's saying that you supposed to be helping me pay the rent or some stuff like that. So I just said, I don't know. I don't know. I just told her that the situation don't make sense. But she told me that he was worried about some other guys beating him up, but then he's not scared to talk crazy to her. So I told her, this is not the guy's problem. Well, he got a problem, but you really are the problem. Anybody, y'all get what I'm saying on that?
Right. Nope.
Yeah. So, but Shawn is right. You do have a man Christ, and I'm glad that he actually wrote a author of a book about it, because the man Christ is more deeper than you probably could ever imagine. And right now, I think it's becoming more now that the men are basically being obsolete, almost. Like, what do I need to listen to you for? I got Big Daddy, Big Cheese government looking out for me. I be wondering how these women say they're independent women when daggone Big Daddy government looking out. Doesn't make sense. Then you got the singers like Beyonce and these ones, they make you feel like, you know what I mean? I understand what I'm saying, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, if you take away that government and these big businesses, these women would fall like dominoes, because the only reason why they are functioning is because the government is taking care of them. It's like I was talking about my upcoming the woman crisis. The woman is married to the government and the state and corporate America. She's not married to men, and the government is taking care of her. So she is like dependent on them. And if the government were to fall today or tomorrow, or corporate America were to collapse, these women would be gone.
And
What do you think, man?
I agree with you. And then if you take away their attention too, on a smaller level, that like you're talking about economically, and on a just social level, you take away their attention. See, a lot of these guys, man, they talk, they're the ones a lot of times the symptom stuff that can't get the attention, but meanwhile, they're giving the women all the attention and giving them the power, so they can't get the attention. See, you're bigging their heads up more. The more and more you big women's or anybody's egos up, the more and more they're gonna be full of themselves. You see what I'm saying? And then like you said, within the man crisis thing, it's a lack of self-esteem, a lack of you see them determination, a lack of drive. You see what I'm saying? And those are the things that I think would fuel a dude to be a simp. You see what I'm saying? Lack of character.
See the thing, mainly child support. So you saying mainly child support, right? I got something to say about that. Now, is that state-funded child support or child support coming out the dad's pocket? Because state-funded child support is actually that's a game, because they tell you, oh, you're getting it by the state, but really you're still garnishing that guy's paycheck too. So I remember I had a guy I knew, he used to work like 3 or 4 jobs, and he said at the end of the day, all his babies he had at the end of the day, he might get $500 out of his check. And I'm talking all the checks, not just the one job, all the checks. So remember, they're taking 33%, I think, or more, depending on where you're at, I believe, too. So, you got to understand. This one over here, you take a big fat job. This one over here gonna make you do the same thing, right? So, this society would collapse, and women would immediately assume the natural Miss Rose. Okay, Pioneer is saying if this system would collapse in the chaos, women would immediately assume the natural Miss Rose and look for strongly protective and provide food and companionship for them. That is actually true. I can agree with that too. But you're talking about Gloria Steinem and these people. Gloria Steinem is a CIA agent, so that probably is into that social engineering project that we always talk about. So yes, that is exactly right. Now, let me see. I want to bring up something to Shawn and you, because y'all are both having it going on. We'll get back to this in a second, but you got 2 wacko governors. One woman and one's a man, even though he acts like a little girl, named Gavin Newsom and Katie Hoskum, I think now, but she's taking over Cuomo's place. So let's just say she's part of the Cuomo regime. So, Shawn, as I've been reading and doing my research, I've been learning that 40-60% of businesses in New York are on the verge of collapse since those mandates. That's what I've been reading. Probably in California too. But I know in New York they're on the system collapse. So some people are saying, I'm not going along with it. You're just going to have to fire me. You bring in the National Guard. Well, these people aren't healthcare workers. They're National Guard, right? So you're setting yourself up not only for destruction as far as a collapse of the system, but you're also setting yourself up for an electoral bloodbath in the midterms. What do you think?
Well, this is something that they're doing because they just want to sit there and be right. They want to continue pushing this narrative with this mandate because they want to be right. They don't want to admit that they're wrong, because if they admit that they're wrong, what will happen is that they were the ones who backed this whole jab. And if people are proving, we're seeing more and more of it happening, that this whole narrative is falling apart, they're the ones who are going to be held accountable for it. But they're continuing to push this. And the reason why they're pushing it again is because they know that they're panicking, they're scared, because they know that everything is invested in this and they have a lot to lose as related to it. And many businesses, they're the poor people caught in between, because they're about to just go under, because remember, restaurants and all these businesses, they have a razor thin profit margin, and it takes one bad month or one bad week and that business is gone. So these mandates are destroying the city, but these politicians are they're more scared because they have more to lose, because they're the ones who backed all these policies. And if these policies fall apart, they're going to be the first ones slaughtered in the bloodbath that's coming. The bloodbath is something they can't stop, because the Democrats are on their way out. No matter what they do, they're on their way out, but just that they don't want to, they want to try to go out swinging.
I mean,
Yeah.
hopefully it be. I agree. Hopefully it be like, you know, hopefully, you know, it won't be as bad as what happened with Smelly Butler, but anyway, but yeah, man, I agree with you, Shawn James, and you know, and I think they're doing this on purpose. You know, you get killed two birds with one stone. You collapse the economy, and you make it to where, because we know it's always an order that the president's going is Democrat, Republican, Democrat. So it's you know, you're gonna make it to where you know, the Republicans get the you know, the long end of the stick this in 7 months. It's coming up. My bad, 7 months. So you know, and then you could collapse the economy at the same time. Like, for example, last year, you know, they shut down certain businesses and said that certain businesses weren't was it what was the word they were using?
Non-essential.
Non-essential businesses, right. So it's like it's just kind of going to be something kind of like similar. And so the Walmarts flourished, and the Targets and stuff flourished, but the mom and pop shops, like you know, for 50 years now, been declining. And we could thank Bill Clinton and the Democrats and for NAFTA, and we could also thank Ronald Reagan in the 80s for that too. So it's, like I'm saying, it's the Democrats and Republicans both played similar games. It's just at different times. You see what I'm saying? Reagan, he did the outsourcing in the 80s, and Clinton did the 90s. So just different games.
Okay. Well, my thing is they both out of their damn mind, but here's the problem with the so-called mandates. And I look at it in the better context of the mandates, because you're telling me that I got to do this, right? But you're not telling me why. You want to ban the term natural immunity on the internet. You want to do this. You want to do that. But if I look and see, I told a guy, he told me he didn't care whether the jab worked or not. You know what he told me? I look at survival rate and efficiency rate of the injection. And he said, when I round out the survival rate is 99.8, he said, why don't I just use zinc and get my herbs and stuff and leave it like that? He said, it ain't got nothing to do with your personal choice. He said, I'm looking at my personal choice. You know, you had that big protest, abortion protest over the weekend in the United States. You saw this, and you saw that big protest, but they say my body, my choice, right? So isn't it my body, my choice on this too, or am I wrong or something? I mean, somebody help me out, because I could be wrong, right? But I think I'm right?
I think you're right.
Somebody help me out.
The whole thing with leftists is that leftists want to have their choices when they want them, but then they want to force their way onto you. That's what makes them hypocrites.
Yeah. So you're saying that they want you to get with their program.
Yeah. They want you to agree to their program, but when you try to have your own opinion, that's when they want to say that you're a bigot or you're a racist or a phobe, or these are the usual arguments they have. Like they turn you into a bad guy whenever you disagree with them, and that's what makes them very dangerous, because they want everybody to just agree with them and their opinion, and they don't want to listen to any counterpoint. That's what the whole dangerous thing about these people are, is that they just don't want to listen to anybody but themselves. And the whole thing is, in order to be able to come up with a comprehensive understanding of things and perspective, you have to listen to the other side. And that is what's so dangerous about these mandates, and that's what's so dangerous about these narratives, is we only get one side of the story, and nobody wants to hear a counterpoint. They just want to just push something without even understanding how it works, or even if it does work. It's just all about being right, and it's an obsession with being right, because they know that if they are wrong, and the numbers are still coming at them where we're seeing that they're wrong, that it's just they don't want to be wrong, because they know if they're wrong, they're going to be held accountable for it.
I agree.
That's right. Well,
All
I
facts.
will say this: that we gotta like get between all the smoke and mirrors. See, when you get into the smoke, when they say when the smoke is fire, but you look in the mirror, the only thing you see in the mirror is yourself. You know what I mean? When you got the smoke cloud the mirror, so you don't see what's behind, in the mirror. So in that case, you got to just be careful with them picking their both sides of the aisles. Now I do want to say something because in New York got a high tax rate. California got a high tax rate. So I know the inflation is killing New York, and I know the inflation is killing California. So I want both of y'all to explain that on both of the ends, because both of y'all in these left coasts. I don't give a damn if you're on the East Coast or what. Y'all on the left. Y'all on the loony left coast.
Yeah, these taxes here are very high. I mean, we have state taxes, we have city taxes, and they are very high. I mean, last year I had to pay some as related to my own business, and again, it's very expensive to live here. And the California probably is the same way, but the whole thing is it's so expensive to live here that that's one of the things that drives an exodus out of New York is people. Yes, it's a very popular place and it's very easy to get to things, but they just cost so much that, and with the taxes, it just becomes impossible to stay here long term.
Yeah, yeah. Same out here. I mean, that's why people out here are leaving California in droves, man. I mean, you go to Texas, man. It's either a lot of California either going to Texas or Oregon, man, or Las Vegas, man, places like that. So, I mean, I don't blame them. Yeah, I mean, the gas is ridiculous. We're up to damn near $5 a gallon, damn near. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, be honest with you, man. And then Gavin Newsom came right when he came back in. You know what I mean? Or he got recalled back in or whatever, which doesn't make any sense. The next day, he threw a mandate on mandatory on L.A. County. So, I mean, the policies. I mean, and then just the cost of living out here has been high. I mean, definitely in L.A. and California, definitely in competition. But I mean.
It
Is
reminds
it
me a
worth
lot.
it?
It reminds me a lot of the 1970s New York. I mean, in the 1970s, these politicians they went on a taxing spree, but they thought that if I raise the taxes, more people will want to open businesses here. But all that did was drive more businesses out, and it just drove the economy straight into the ground. So I see the same thing happening with New York and California. The same thing that happened in the 1970s, just the same type of denial about business. They're sitting there thinking, "Oh, we can tax our way out of this." But you can't tax your way out of this. And the sad part is these guys have not studied history to see where they're going. But I lived through this because I was born in the 70s and I grew up in the 80s. And I lived through this as a kid. And I saw many of the businesses leaving New York City. I saw the burnt down Bronx. I saw the new Bronx, New York City turned into a wasteland due to these types of high tax policies and high prices. And people move to other states. I mean, and companies move overseas. And people, they're not, these politicians, especially on the left, are not looking at the big picture, and they're not seeing how history is repeating itself.
Yeah, Shawn, I'm actually from Queens. I'm actually from and I heard it, the gentrification out there. I heard it's starting to become out there. Jamaica, really, I'm actually from Far Rockaway, but I have family from Jamaica, and I heard it's starting to get into a little bit of Jamaica too, man. But I mean, but it's crazy. I mean, I know Brooklyn, the gentrification is crazy in Brooklyn. I know Harlem is damn near it's a wrap.
Harlem, the gentrification in Harlem fell apart. I mean, I was there when in the 2000s I was working around there, and I remember all these businesses came there: Krispy Kreme, Pathmark, all these businesses, Potemkin, Cadillac. All those businesses by about 2012 or 2013 were gone, and now that whole area is a ghetto all over again, filled with drug addicts and heroin addicts, and it looks just like it did back in the 80s. Because once the government money ends and the government grants in, a lot of these companies, once they don't get the grants anymore, they pull out, and what is left is a whole bunch of vacant properties. And the thing is, you push out all the family-owned businesses, because that's what happened in Harlem. All the black-owned and family-owned businesses were pushed out of Harlem, and there are just big holes in that neighborhood now. It's practically, yes, you've got gentrification, but the whole thing is it doesn't last in any way, shape, or form. I mean, yeah, you got some government, a handful of big business owners got their grant money, and then once they got their grant money, they practically left the area, and then they closed their businesses, saying the business did not perform in proportion to other locations.
And so we'll be talking about racism. That'd be race, that kind of stuff right there, and that lassism, that'd be race. Sometimes when people say certain things as racism, I'll be like, nah, that don't really fit that description. That fits that description right there. They just racially closing us out, man. Just like what they did with Bruce's Beach recently, man. So or back in the day, and I'm in California, so that I would say, Gavin Newsom, I guess he's trying to be in the face of that, but at the same time, what I don't like about that is they're going to give him, black people are going to give him benefits of the doubt. Now that man does not need no benefits of the doubt. That man has a bill to where, you know what I'm saying, a 10-year bill to where a 24-year-old doesn't have to register as a sex offender for sleeping with a 14-year-old. And I'm not with that, man. I'm sorry. I don't know what kind of
that's sick right there. That kind of law is sick because 14-year-old doesn't even know what they're doing. I was 14 at the time, and all you know is what you see in the movies and stuff. You don't even know what you're getting into.
Yeah, that dude. It's crazy, man.
Well,
we're gonna say BJ.
Shawn just sent me a message about New England experiencing a surge in COVID, despite high vaccination rates. That's mighty interesting that you're saying this. I get to it, but last year they were talking about super spreaders, but did you say a super spreader last night when New England Patriots playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with all those fans in the damn game?
Nope.
They called it the Tom Brady return. They hyped it up. So all this stuff is social engineering, a bunch of crap. See, a lot of people keep talking about, we shut down the economy because of COVID. No. You wanted to crash small businesses to consolidate wealth to the big conglomerates and empower these pharmaceutical companies. And I challenge anybody that don't believe me to go. I know some Negroes can get mad, but you're going to take it what it is. Barack Obama, aka Barry Soetoro, empowered these pharmaceutical companies to a level they had never seen before when he was in office, when he made that Affordable Care Act. So you think that was about you? That was about empowering pharmaceuticals. The biggest beneficiary of the Affordable Care Act was Wall Street and these pharmaceutical companies, because they tried to mandate you to have insurance if you didn't have it. And they said they were universal health care to collapse the private healthcare system and make your healthcare system of the state. And if you look at it now, when they talk about a universal passport, that go into that universal healthcare thing, that universal basic income. All that stuff is tied together. In California, you got pilot programs where they're trying to tell you, we give you $500,000 a month. You can spend the money any way you want it, right? See that?
Right.
They call it universal basic income. See, you got to look at it. And matter of fact, I just found a book on eBay the other day, and when I get it, I'm going to read it, look at it, dice it up, get some more to you so I can have it back on. I always read some of it, but I got to get it back on the book hard copy. Because remember today, Facebook, it just shut down WhatsApp and all this stuff. The internet was down. These apps were down today, which is coincidentally after they had a whistleblower come out yesterday on 60 Minutes.
Yep.
You better watch out. So that's why I had to go back and get the paperback copy of the New World Order. See? And then you read it, because they are trying to do that under the guise of a pandemic, but no, this was their plan all along. Remember, it was Agenda 21. They changed to Agenda 30.
Yeah.
But remember, Hillary Clinton was in office in 2016. You probably already had Agenda 21. Trump put their plans back just a little bit. But what do you see? Chip shortages. Get your food now. That Costco and them talking about we're gonna limit water supplies and all this stuff. I mean, anybody realize what's going on here? Or matter of fact, let me make it better. Not for Shawn James, not for Frank Nitty, people in the chat. okay, I understand what you're saying, pioneering that support universal health care, but I didn't like the fact he pushed the mandate for Obama to make you buy insurance. Yes, because that actually had a lot of people paying taxes. I maybe I did, maybe I maybe didn't put that all the way right, but when I say universal health care, then they're trying to do a universal vaccine passport, which that makes no sense. But I understand where you're going. But you got to understand, these people are trying a lot of things. But I'm not talking about, but the worst part about it, and I'm not really getting on anybody, religion and thing, but look, you got a Bible that you should read. It's got some good literature in there if you just sit there and read what they're saying. But a lot of people don't read it. They just say, oh, yeah, I'm going to see. Well, you ain't going to see Al Sharpton because Al Sharpton ain't got no damn church that I know of, right? But at the same time, you listen to TD Jakes, Cleflo Dollar. You ain't going to listen to Shawn James, King BJ, Frank Nitty, anybody else on here. You can say, oh, yeah, y'all just talking. Y'all's talking conspiracy. Y'all talking bad. Don't talk down on nobody. Hey, look, I'm not talking down on Al Sharpton. If you can't tell, that's a pimp by now. Or matter of fact, a FBI informant, CI007 is his number or something like that. If you can't tell that game is going to run on you by now, then I'm sorry for you. You just got to be complete. Either you are stuck in another time or you are completely stupid. Because ain't no way Al Sharpton Dad gonna got a job on MSNBC. You ought to know who this guy working for. You better know who Roland Martin working for too. By the way, he might be on YouTube, but you better know who that nigga working for. So, I mean, and Al Sharpton been out there in New York. Look, check this out. Shawn James know this. The National Action Network, right? Take all that crap. They say, oh yeah, we support black community. Oh yeah. But daggone early this year in New York, you damn so shopped and out there rallying for them Asians too, didn't you?
He was at the border for a minute ago. He was at the border
yeah,
and he got roasted.
Yeah, but you realize Al Sharpton is an opportunist. He gonna take the opportunity. So you just gotta watch him. Really, I mean, y'all. I know y'all don't watch his show on MSNBC. I know it's boring as hell. Now check this out. I like what he's saying. Here, read this. This is all in the Bible, but everything that is going on is condemned to non-believers. True, but they would call us conspiracy theorists in this case. So actually, we are non-believers to them. If you get what I'm saying, right? But I do have a concern now. I want to get back to a little bit of the man crisis because we got to come up with a solution to the man crisis. So, what are some tips that I could use here for some men if I was really trying to tell some men what to do to better themselves?
Well, one of the things men have to do in order to better themselves is that they have to get with other men. They have to start learning how to sit down and trust other men, and they have to learn how to listen to other men. I mean, one of the things that feminists have taught boys over the last 50 years is not to trust another man, but the only guy who knows about being a man is another man. So that's one of the first solutions about dealing with the man crisis is we got to start learning how to work together as men because we're all we've got. And the other thing that we have to start doing is we have to start investing in ourselves. I mean, there's not a lot of big solutions that government can do. It's stuff that we're going to have to do on the ground. And we have to start investing in other men, working with other men, helping out other men, talking to other men, teaching male life skills, teaching male survival skills, because you're not going to get that from a woman. And you're not going to get that from any female out here because females are only all about themselves. Now, the other thing you have to do is you have to stop watching a lot of this media out here. This media is very misandristic, and this media oftentimes promotes beta male behavior and beta male approaches to life. So when I was younger, I used to think, oh, the guys on TV were normal. No, the guys on TV are dysfunctional, and the men that they're presenting to you are weak, emasculated men. They're not models for manhood. You need to go out here and seek out real models for manhood business owners, people in the community who are decent brothers, and watch positive media like a lot of like myself and other guys out here who are trying to promote an actual image of manhood and teach you approaches about manhood.
What you got, Frank?
Yeah, I definitely agree, man. You know what I mean? You know, and yeah, man. You know, get with other men. You know what I'm saying? And you know, gather up with family, man. Male figures of your family, older, you know, some elders and stuff, man. You know, and talk to them and get some stories from them and get some tips and advice and guidance from them, man. You know, if you can, you know, you got younger relatives or anything in your family, like you know, some nephews or something. You know, get with them and try to motivate them, and you know, let that your energy rub off on them, and vice versa. You know, because we 30s, 40s, and stuff like that. We definitely you know need younger male energy, and they definitely need our energy, man. But yeah, man, you know, definitely give solutions and tips to these kids, man, because you know that's what the white media and that's what everybody you know always puts out is a certain a motive, a certain narrative about us and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And talk about guidance, and but you know, some of us do give these kids guidance and stuff like that, man. But it's you know, it's just it's conditioning, I think. You know, social media use encourage these kids to use social media not just for entertainment purposes, for some kind of educational purposes,
Hold
some
on,
kind
buddy.
of
Hold on, buddy. Let me cut my mic off. Hold on. Y'all go ahead and talk.
yeah, you know, some kind of educational purposes, man. And then mentorships and stuff, like, even I don't like using that, I don't like that word at all, but just getting together with the youth and stuff too, man. You know, maybe volunteering your time to the church, or to or to a little boys organization or something, you know, maybe to a foster home or something. I mean, giving your time back, that'll help. Yeah, man. So I think there's a lot of different solutions, man, but we definitely got to change the narrative of this media that we got going on, because this media that we have definitely they definitely just have a straight locked and load narrative for us all the time, and it's locked and loaded and it's ready to go, and people are ready to believe it and regurgitate it. And
Yeah,
yeah,
there's
man.
so much man hate on this media. That's why I do not watch it anymore, and I want nothing to do with it, because it's like everything is the man is bad, boys are bad, and this does not help develop good self-esteem and good confidence in young men. I mean, when I was doing writing the Man Crisis, I was doing the research for it. I watched TV shows from the 50s, 60s, and early 70s, and the shows had a completely different theme. The theme was about teaching boys the life skills they would need to survive. And then after the 70s, we went from teaching boys the life skills that they would need to survive and teaching men the life skills they would need to navigate the world, to this always women are great and men are just stupid. And then by the time we got to the 2000s, men were the stupidest people on the planet and they were just useless. And when you have this type of media, it's not good for a boy to sit there and watch, because it's going to turn him into this beta male. And this beta male, he spends most of his time trying to please women. And when you go from that position, you're coming to a position of weakness. You're not focusing on a position of strength. You're not focused on being a leader. You're not focused on trying to go out here and build and accomplish goals. You're just focused on trying to make some woman happy. And that's a ridiculous goal. And we can see
Yeah.
that with Will Smith.
I know. And in the movie, and then, this is not really like in the movies, it's not really how it is in real life. And that's another thing too. They condition the boys to to chase the girl, like like how the character does in the movie, for the whole damn movie. If he has to, he gets embarrassed, he gets humiliated, water, whatever thrown at him or whatever, and he still manages to have that same drive to chase the girl that he wants, that's not interested, but doesn't have the same drive to stay motivated in life lessons and pursue his path. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They'll show you a mess up or a screw up all day when it comes out of male in a movie, but they won't condemn the fact that they'll show you the simp all day trying to pursue the girl all day in the movie. So it's he's more motivated to catch her versus to get his life together.
Yeah. I mean, we don't get movies like Rocky anymore where we see a guy focused on his goals or a guy focused on building something. I mean, we used to get those kind of movies, but the mainstream media is so gynocentric. All we get is movies about guys chasing women, guys looking to make women happy. That's what we get on TV all the time. But we don't get the programming that shows us a man focused on, I want to build a business. I want to go out here and accomplish some sort of goal. I mean, that's what we need to be teaching boys is to become men, functional men in society, is that you need to focus on putting yourself first, putting what goals you want to accomplish in life first, and most importantly, putting God first, and putting it where you're trying to focus on accomplishing something with your life, not going out here looking to make some female happy, because the female is supposed to follow you. And if you're the leader and you're taking the lead in your life, you don't have to worry about her. She will follow you.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Well, that's kind of interesting. Somebody, I see Pioneer says something in the chat, and it is right that the Bible says, "Who can make war with the beast?" Yeah. She said, "I'll say, who did tell us how to defeat this beast?" Yeah, that's what Pioneer says on that. Okay, go to Canada. They seem to show more appreciation for black men. Okay, openly.
Or Europe,
okay,
Europe period. Europe period. You know, my pops was in Germany. He was telling me about that, man. He was overseas. He just, excuse me, sorry about that. He was telling me about, my pops was overseas. He was telling me, man, it's a different culture over there. But see, the propaganda, like we were saying, and you know, what the lamestream media does to us out here, it denigrates our character out here. It makes people you know, it makes people think like that too. But overseas, their media, I mean, you know, there's racism stuff like that overseas too. But their media and their whole society and stuff looks at us a little different. Plus, a lot of them have a lot of for example, like in the Vatican and stuff, they have that Black Madonna and Child that they used to worship. So they actually worship the painting Black Madonna and Child. So, you know, but over here we don't have paintings and deities like that white people worship. See, because they're taught just slavery over here, and that's it. The slavery, civil rights, that's it. That's Black history. And now they came up with something called CRT that they only teach in the universities anyway, by the way. So I don't even know why they're talking about them teaching in the schools. But so it's just, you know, I think they have a different light because it's a different form of propaganda. Their propaganda is set based on certain things in Europe, I think, and our propaganda is set based on us and other things out here. So I think that's might be a little bit why it's like that. Why they look at black men a little bit different out there than out here. I mean, but if you think about it, they got it to where our women have a certain kind of thinking about us. So we don't even need to have you know, worry about what other groups of women think about us, because our own women have a certain, you know, certain disdain in certain things. So some certain ones do anyway. So that's another topic though, right there.
Yeah, very, very interesting. You know what I say, right? I say, look, the rest of this stuff is just crazy as hell anyway, right? We just got to get our mind right and put in a better light. You know, stop looking at this negative imagery. For the women, look, don't worry about what Nicki Minaj is doing and Cardi B and all these. You know, one of the bad things about Cardi B, man? Now, look, check this out. Just started saying it's Shawn James, especially. Shawn James, well, you frank too, you understand. But you got to know this a game when Cardi B interviewing with Joe Biden, and she just had one of the WAP just came out, right? Whatever the hell it is, right?
One of them songs. Yeah.
You got to know the game if daggone she interviewing with the president of the United States. That's a game. And he said, what did he say? You heard what he said. He said, you remind me of my daughter Ashley. Give me a fucking break. Well, then again, you might remind your daughter. Your daughter might be on some crazy shit, so I don't know. But give me a goddamn break. Yeah.
I agree.
Just give me a
But
break and cut the
that's
nonsense.
different kind of conditioning, though. You know, you got the WAP culture conditioning for the females, and you got just the gangster thug. I'm the thuggest. You know, get a tattoo on your face and all over your body culture for the men. And I think it's a lot of bullshit because, you know, coming from the street aspect too, for me, from I see through a lot of that stuff. And you see, you know what I'm saying? You could be the most tatted up dude or the most hardest so-called dude or whatever on the outside, but on the inside, you be soft as man, cotton, you know? Just like same with the women. You be as the most insecure, you know, look a certain way on the outside, but you may be the most insecure person on the inside, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah. But I do understand what both of y'all are saying now. So we got a lot of stuff that's been going on, right? And you know, I always look at it like this. Fix your problems in the issues, right? Because when you fix the problem, you always can solve the issue. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
See, we got to be more of a problem, reaction, solution type of side. That's my motto. You got a problem, you react to it negatively or positively, but you got to come to a solution. Aaliyah had a song called "We Need a Resolution." Where I need a solution to the problem. You know, like if the fire going, everybody can't run from the fire. Somebody got to put it out, right? Right, Shawn?
Yep.
Somebody got to put some of the fire out for the whole building burn, right? But it seems like in the day side, you just let the fire go. You don't try to put it out. So I think that we get a lot misunderstood with things. But Shawn, I do got to ask you some questions because I know you're going to say you had our time. And,
yeah.
I got to eat dinner my daggone self. You know, been a long day. But I got to ask a question to you. Explain some of your latest projects and books got you in the book writing and all that.
Well, my latest project is coming up in October 25th. It's available in paperback right now if you want to pick it up. It's called Stop Simping in Cyberspace. And this book was inspired by the incident where a live streamer called Belle Delphine was selling bathwater for $30. And I wanted to educate young men on avoiding these type of female predators online. So this is a book that goes in depth on the whole concept of cyber simping, and it's meant to help boys and young men break out of this paradigm so that they don't get taken advantage of by these female predators. And that book is again available in paperback right now, and will be available on Kindle on October 25th. And I have another one of my fantasy books in the E-Steam series called Cancel Vacation, and this one is a commentary on cancel culture. And that book will be available on November 19th in paperback and Kindle format. And I have an upcoming book again in 2022 called The Woman Crisis, which is the companion to The Man Crisis, and details why our women out here are struggling to have relationships or be able to get married or have a family or even just basically be able to function in any way, shape, or form outside of corporate America.
I understand. Well, that's interesting. You said stop simping in cyberspace, right?
Yeah, that's going to be available this month.
Well, look though, but you gotta. Hey, look, but you got. Well, look, the simps ain't just in cyberspace. You got simps all around you now. So you don't worry about the cyberspace now. You know that's good, but you got simps all around you now. Okay?
I have other books that stop simping. I have a Stop Simping in the Workplace, and I have other books called Manginas and Misadventures of Captain Save-'em. But this one is specialized because we have this new crop of simps online, and these guys, they're going on Instagram and going after these so-called IG models. They're going on places like Patreon. They're thinking that they're having relationships with these online personalities on places like Twitch, but they're not having relationships with these women. These women are basically baiting these guys, selling themselves to some, and tricking them into giving them all their money. So I'm seeing a lot of guys getting taken advantage of online. And we're having more and more incidents like what happened with Miss Mercedes Moore happening more and more. And just like just so many different incidents going on with guys online getting scammed for large amounts of money, or they're just getting caught up in some stuff. So I wrote this book to deal with all of these guys who just do not know how to socialize online. Again, it ties right into the man crisis, because when you have a father in the home, he can sit down and talk to his son and tell him, look, these women online are not interested in you. They're no different than the stripper in the strip club, and all they want to do is get your money. And the sad part is these guys don't know, and they're giving thousands of dollars to these women, and the women are making a complete fool out of them.
You know who I could say I think is in that man crisis realm. A lot of these rappers and a lot of these sports ball players, man. These dudes be the biggest simps, man. You could tell there was no father in the home, no guidance, no nothing. You see what I'm saying? My pops always told me about certain things with a female. He always told me, and even he told me certain things. Hey, necessarily don't even say a female tell anything about your sign or anything to a female, because that might turn a female off when she has high interest in you. I'm like, certain little tips like that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of these dudes weren't, and it's when you don't get that from your father, man, you don't get it firsthand from the horse's mouth. A lot of times, man, you're gonna end up in bad. You're gonna end up. This is gonna be your father right here dishing off that dough. You see what I'm saying? That's gonna be the influence you have versus your influence versus your masculine energy and influence. This is gonna be your influence. How much money you gonna dish off, man? And it's a shame. It's a shame, man.
There's no man to sit down and tell you that sometimes that just you talking too much, or you the way you approaching stuff is all wrong. When you have a man there, he can tell you these kind of things because he's been there before, so that he knows what the real deal is.
Yeah, and to tell you not to shy away and stuff like that.
Man, you talk about sipping. Let me say something that sipping in silence may do. Man, I be doing these guys be out there sipping and. Man, I had a girl one time tell me the guy told her, man, I paid $1,000 and all this other all this other crazy stuff. They come talk to me. They kind of like me, so they come talk to me, right? They come tell me all this crazy shit, right? See, when you level-headed, you can get more done, right?
Oh yeah. Hell
man,
yeah.
What's so crazy? I'm gonna tell you something. They like me. But they try to stay away from me. But they like me and they come back and come forth and so forth and so on. It's kind of weird, man, right? It's very weird.
Right.
But they do tell me all this information. I'm like, man, you really think I need to hear this information for real? Because you actually are giving me all the goods, right? You're telling me everything. But it is good that Shawn writing a book called Simping in Cyberspace because it let me know that these were the simp set. And I need to know how to avoid these. But you got to understand some of the music you got out there talking about simping, like Drake, right? You talk about simping.
Damn, dude. That's a good point.
Well,
I like Drake's music, actually, some of it. But he do talk about simping, though. It is what it is, right?
Simp culture comes from all these guys being raised by single moms and with no male influence.
I mean, I'm just saying, trying to tell it's like trying to tear that the punk out and run. That's right. But
Pioneer is too much, man.
Yeah. But a simp is only as good as what he can do. He can't do too much more than simp. When he getting, they say this above your pay grade, he ain't getting too far off the pay grade. I'm even saying going to strip club is a form of simping to me because what are you getting out of it? You are throwing them. I had an old friend of mine, and he told me two things. One thing you never get into is simping and gambling. Both of strip clubs and gambling. Both of them are suckers games.
I agree with you. I could agree.
Gambling is a suckers game, and the strip club is also a suckers game. If you're not coming out with anything.
And that's what's happening online. It's just like the strip club. These guys are going out on these live streams and stuff. They're dropping lots of money thinking they got a shot, but the whole game is fixed. And the whole thing, same thing with the strip club. Strip club is fixed. It's all about them using you, seeing you as a mark, and then using your lust and your emotions to be able to get money out of you.
And the crazy thing about it is a lot of these fools in the conscious community be simping and they be wasting their money on strippers. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these cats talking that conscious stuff on here, but they be the main ones, man. It's like Dude, you got to control your desires as a man. That's as a man, you got to learn how to control your desires, man. That's the main thing.
You know something funny? You know something funny? It's mighty funny because I do DJs sometimes. A couple years ago, this guy, he said, man, you know, you can DJ, you know, you make a whole lot of money in DJ club. You probably can make about $600, $800 to $1,000 a night, right? I told him, but the only thing is I don't go to strip clubs. So I told him it's kind of hard for me to do that. You know what I'm saying? I don't go to strip clubs. I don't want to be around them. So it's kind of hard. I thought about it, you know, I could have made a whole lot of money, right? If you're doing it 4 or 5 nights a week, you know, shit, that's probably $4,000, $5,000. But do you really want to be in the environment long term? And really, to tell you the truth, the 2 times I've even been, one time I didn't know, and the second time it was just for entertainers. So, like I think there was some people with some entertainment for me. It was in Shawn, North Carolina, but I didn't throw any money. So, you know, that makes people get mad. Like, what are you doing? They're like, well, you know, hey, you know, I came to see who was it, Fabulous and Plies or somebody like that. This was back in 2017 or 8, whatever the year was. Whatever the year was, okay. But I'm just saying that that's not something that I do. So I told him, no, I don't want to get into nothing like that long term. So the guy understood, and he just passed the opportunity by. But you know, it is what it is. So, but I know gambling, you know, is really more sucker than that. You're right. Now I would say one thing about this strip club. You probably got a better chance of getting something out of that than that $1 billion lottery or $1 million lottery you got to do. I will give you that. But besides that, that's what it is. Now let me read something to you. Black men must ask themselves, do they really want strength and power? Men today are interested in fame and showing off. And you see the guy with the big chain, you know what I'm talking about, Shawn, right?
Yeah.
That's why they get mad with Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving, especially for saying I'm not for the jab, but then they finally got Wiggins to do it. But you know what they always say about Kyrie? They talk about how much money you could lose. And the NBA Players Union, they made a deal to reduce player salary. And you got to ask yourself a question. Who is your union really working for? If they're making these deals with the league.
Right. And what's in those contracts, right?
Yeah.
It's really in those.
You saw what happened to the youth, Shawn, last week when they're getting on LeBron James for not promoting.
Yeah.
See?
Well, NBA is nothing but a slave plantation.
Well, let me ask you a question. You say it's a slave plantation, right?
Yeah.
But is the NFL a slave plantation too?
Yeah. All these sports.
Okay, good.
They just make these guys are around just because they're to do as they're told.
Hey, look. But they also do as I told, do as I say, not as I do, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's why you got Stephen A. Smith and Shaq talking. Hey, look, Shawn, I'm going to ask you a question. You got the book out. Who wants to hear from these buffoons, really? You don't want to hear from them, do you?
Nope. I don't really listen to these guys like Stephen A. Smith. They're clowns.
Well, the good thing is we got a person that writes books like you, so and we always can, but we're glad. I'm always glad when I talk to you. I've been on you with Gavin show many times. I'm glad you came around. But I will say, keep up the good information. And I know you got to work tomorrow, and I know you got a million things to do. You didn't have to be here with me, but you came on with me. And Frank, and the reason I brought him on because both of y'all got the same thing going on in y'all respective states. So my thing is with both of you, I'm not saying for you to leave, but there's a whole lot of people leaving those areas. And hey, man, I wish we all lived in closer proximity, but we don't. I'm in Virginia, which actually ain't number 5 hours from you. He's in California, but everybody got the same problem going on. So we had a festival this weekend, and a guy running for governor, Terry McAuliffe in Virginia, was at the festival, Second Street Festival, one of the festivals down here in Richmond, right? I'm not worried why he's there, but I just want to know why you keep coming to all these. Why are you trying to come around us now? But he said that he for vaccine mandates. I said, wait a minute, why y'all niggas taking a picture with this guy? Why y'all asking about these man? He talking about he getting off because he want to do this. That's what we need to be asking. But you know, it is what it is. We get too caught in the flashing lights. But with that being said, Shawn and Frank, I'm gonna let y'all brothers go. But I thank y'all for having a great show with me. And Shawn, come back anytime.
I'll be glad to do that.
Oh yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Shawn. Nice talking to you, man.
All right, nice talking to you too. Thank you
All right,
for having me on.
All right, good looking out, PJ. Thanks, man.